Hello, Mech fans. This is Duncan Fisher. Hold on firmly to your mana potions, fireballs, and familiars, because you are tuning in to your regularly scheduled episode of the First Circuit Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the First Circuit Podcast, episode number 132. Your hosts today include the usual batch with Lush,
Hey, how's it going?
Altpop,
Hello.
Biden,
Hello.
and myself, Ian Roseri. We have a Discord issue, so please don't mind video quality if you're watching on YouTube. As for topics today, obviously we're gonna talk about the big and exciting news of this week. How the Star Wars Mandalorian managed to not completely botch Ahsoka Tano live action. Oh, wait, no.
That was
okay.
good.
No, we're talking about
That was
Battletech.
good. Oh my
I
god.
have
Wrong
not
franchise.
seen The Mandalorian yet. I need to
That
watch
was a
all of it.
really good episode.
That
Wrong
was a
franchise.
awesome episode. Wrong franchise. Yeah.
We want to
okay.
talk about
go ahead.
Battletech. So we're going to talk
Okay.
about
Yeah.
Mechwarrior Online, which currently feels like Attack on Titan Season 2. Oh my god, I'm making too many references. Also, there are big news regarding Mechwarrior 5 and the DLC Xbox release, Mechwarrior back on Xbox. There was some shade thrown towards the Mech Assault fan base in that statement. Biggest news of the week, PGI has been sold to a Swedish game publisher called EG7. And also there's some news regarding Battletech Tabletop and the Kickstarter. So coming up next, let's dive right into Mechwarrior Online. Episode 4, The Long Wait.
Episode 4, The Long Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Because
yeah, it's true.
Because it's the fourth update from Darren
Yeah.
that we're talking about, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
because it's just talking.
You're right.
Also, there's
You're
my
right.
Attack on Titan reference because they were just talking in season 2.
Season 2 took forever to come out for that.
Season 2
Dude,
took
you gotta watch it.
forever.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Okay, so
Anyway,
Anyway,
Darren
zoom in on
update.
that.
Darren update number 4. We're recording this on Sunday. Obviously, this podcast is going to air on Monday, by which time you're going to have update number 5. And hopefully you're gonna find something more worthwhile in update number 5. What we have right now is Darren just reassuring us that they are looking into stuff and asking the community to continue the discussion on the forums. And let's move on because there really wasn't a lot going on there.
One little thing was that the artwork is like him saying, doing what the hand gesture thing, like
Yeah.
the rock on thing,
double
and the
horns.
face is like yeah, but it's all it is saying more or less just talk
Keep
on
on,
the forum
keep
some
on.
more. It doesn't feel appropriate compared to last week's one, which is like,
I know.
hey, come to the forums, and that was just like Bombadil lurking, and now it's
Well,
yeah.
well, that's his personality though. So like, I kind
Exactly.
of get the artwork though.
Yeah.
Kind of get the artwork there. It's fine.
But mainly for those who missed it, maybe who have not been watching podcasts or been on the forums, there are forums to put in your input for the new player experience and maps and all the good stuff to let Bombadil know what you might want to see. So that's pretty much all that was.
Links below if the discussion is still open by Monday. Please take part of it.
Discuss.
Discuss it all.
Yes.
Yeah. And then regarding Mechwarrior Online, we've got a tiny breadcrumb from Twitter. Russ has been tweeting some tiny breadcrumbs. One of them is they're talking about the cadet fix much earlier. We're not quite certain what it means. Presumably the fix that new cadets should be placed in tier 4.5 rather than in tier 3.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe there's gonna be something. Maybe not.
Well, Darren
There
update
was
soon.
also there was a No Guts No Galaxy episode 217. That's a little old at this point, but in that the topic of the PSR changing it from new players going to PSR 3 to 4.5, and Bombadil brought up that yep, this is totally something we brought to the team, but there were some people who said, oh, we don't really want to do that because of the possibility of griefers, and so they say that they want to do a systematic analysis of all the data to see whether it's worth doing this change.
I think it'd be good to see it.
Hey, Mom, how you doing?
Oh,
Okay,
I'm doing a podcast. Okay, that'll be fine. Like basically, I'll talk to you later about it. Okay. Okay. Love you too. Okay, bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing it live. We are professionals.
Okay, hold
Oh
This is
on.
yeah,
a
this
professional
is not going to
podcast.
be cut up at all.
Okay, go
But yeah,
ahead.
no, but yeah, but I think moving them from the current 3 to a 4.5, I think it'd be good, especially also a lot of the community is just asking for that to happen, honestly.
It sounds like such a simple and obvious change that it
Yeah,
just requires a simple change of values.
yeah.
Um, I do sort of feel a little that there was a time when the game was quite there was still a fair number of people playing the game. There was a certain population of griefers, but we're
Mhm.
long sort of past that at this
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
yeah,
all the griefers actually pretty much did their thing, and now they're off griefing other people, like other
Yeah,
games and stuff like that.
because they were there team killing and, doing damage to each other and all that, so, yeah, I really
Yeah,
have not seen that in at least 2
no,
years, really.
I mean you still get the occasional like douchebag that screams over mic and cries over it, but that's about it though. But like
Yeah.
not the griefers like we had before. So
Mhm.
that's good. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. Good times.
well, it's just that they're using that as the main reason why to sort of hold off on it and just saying, "Oh, we're going to spend forever looking into this, what the community proposed as a simple fix."
Hmm.
And I think my point has always just been that you can change the starting PSR, but also it's built to be zero sum,
Yeah,
and that will mean slowly over time, if you're relying on new blood, the total PSR and the player base has always sort of been dragged towards not the middle, but towards the bottom, which is just how things are implemented if you only change the starting point.
Mhm.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
'cause I hope
it's PGI going to PGI things, and it's an interesting early look. Russ is saying at least hopefully there might be something coming early, but in my head it's still sort of like in my head it's the visual image is sort of Ralph Wiggum just sort of saying, the leprechaun tells me to burn things. And it's just yep, PGI is going to PGI. The community will come forward with a reasonable suggestion, and then PGI will listen to the leprechaun and tell us whether they approve or disapprove of the idea, and we'll just get a weird twisted a contortion at the end that is according to their own whims.
but yeah, but hopefully when this podcast comes out, it'll be the first week of December, and I do wanna mention it's kinda skipping ahead a little bit, but on no, actually, yeah, Tuesday, on December 1st, there will be a dev vlog. So
Oh,
that
really?
may
Okay.
actually come up. Yes, that may actually come up during that. So we'll have to keep an eye out. So the
Yeah.
day after this podcast comes out, there will be a vlog.
Okay. Have to check that
I
out
found
then.
the wording interesting, a vlog rather than a
Vlog.
podcast or dev update. Yeah. So he's gonna just walk around Vancouver with his camera. I
A
would
Yeah,
love to
vlog.
live
see that.
vlogging outside, just shaky cam holding to
Okay.
his
Though this is Ralph Wiggum, so it could just involve video footage and just be a devlog anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Mechwarrior Online got a Solaris 7 season 11 kickoff.
Yep. Just the usual stuff with one
Mm-hmm.
major exception. Due to budget constraints, they're cutting the custom warhorns out of the season reward. So every season had as a reward, I believe, a custom warhorn that's basically just the number of the season or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's getting cut. I'm honestly not even sure if you get something else in exchange, but looking at these rewards, they like if Solaris was a live game mode, I would play it for those rewards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're
There's
getting
a lot to be
decent
gained.
MC there and GXP
Well,
too.
just like logging on, you pretty much get 50 MC and 2 million C bills just for one match. So, I
At
mean,
least
25. You need
in the
25.
bullet points, they do at least acknowledge this is what the least played mode in MWO, and there is a small certain cadet
oh,
that
okay,
do play it
25, yeah.
for these rewards.
Hmm.
But yeah, they are cutting back on the amount of work they're putting into them, and even talking about perhaps next year doing seasonal rewards, but for perhaps modes that aren't the least played in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Well, like I think Darren was talking about, yeah, doing special things for that and special things for, community warfare. Basically only having that out for that. But like I'm sure there's a player base that actually would not like that at all. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I think Solaris definitely they should change it to a special seasonal thing, and that's it. It's only going to be used for this month, and that's it. Or something like that, because no one really plays it like anymore. Just
That's
it,
a whole different discussion, though. For now,
just breaks up
rewards are
the.
getting
That's right.
somewhat cut, so a bit less incentive to.
A funny little twist is this is what the first real sort of change to MW after they've come back. They're cutting Warhorn content.
Not a good
Yay!
sign.
The Arrival of Mechwarrior Online, episode 4.5.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
unbiteable cuts
Yes.
for the
But anyway,
Ultimate.
so
Okay.
besides that, what else we got going on
Yeah.
for Mechwarrior Online?
Yeah, one minor thing just to quickly mention, there was an event going on, Weekend Warriors, and also a sale, and we would just like to say, good event, good sale. It was
Yeah.
simple, it didn't have any phases, it was just
Thank God.
useful stuff. An event that was accomplishable in a single day, so
Yeah.
decent enough stuff going on.
Yeah, so
It's
the Black Friday sale, 50% off all mechs, all engines, all weapons. You don't have to get the spreadsheet to figure out what's on sale. Everything
Yeah.
is.
And a
Well,
what day? Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
Um,
and the event was quite nice as well. Just play each weight category, get 2 million C bills, 100 MC each weight category, and there's premium time at the very start. Very good.
yeah, not bad.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right, Macro Online. It's still the long wait. Hopefully next week is going to be much more exciting. Presumably not, though. Presumably we're gonna have to wait a bit longer.
Yeah, we're not
Moving
gonna
on to
anything
the actual big topics. Mechwarrior 5 got a major announcement that coincides with our next topic. But for now, let's talk purely about what has been going on with Mechwarrior 5. And I see the dreaded
Delayed,
name.
Cyberpunk
which
2077.
I don't blame them for this delay because that is a massive game that also
Yeah.
got delayed by like a month, and it just happened
Yeah.
to coincide with the
Yeah, I do
Mechwarrior
not
5
blame them
release.
for delaying
Yeah.
away from the launch of Cyberpunk at all.
Yeah,
It would just be so freaking hilarious if Cyberpunk delayed again and they
on the
landed
same
in
date.
the release window of the new day. That would be
That
so
would suck.
stupid.
Oh
That would
god.
suck.
But
But
anyway,
yeah.
they're delaying not only Mechwarrior 5 Steam launch and the DLC, they're also expanding on it and doing something else. So Mechwarrior 5 is going to be released on Steam and GOG early 2021. I think they said first quarter, but no specific month yet. Same time as their DLC because they kind of go alongside. And there's one big news.
Jamma Boy is really excited about this, by the way. Who did Wolves?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
is
is so
very
excited.
Mechwarrior 5 is going to come to the Xbox, which
Yeah, going to
honestly
console.
makes total sense because the Xbox is a PC. And knowing Microsoft, it's probably mostly the same operating system. And Mechwarrior already has support for gamepads, so why wouldn't you release it on Xbox? So yeah, makes total sense. Mechwarrior is going to be an Xbox.
Yeah.
I love this. I do love this little jab right here. The first true Mechwarrior experience ever on a console. That is so hilarious.
That's a big
Poor
big stretch.
Mechasol fan base.
Yeah, because it says this will be the first MechWarrior title on a console since 2004's MechAssault 2. And in our opinion,
Oh, it's our opinion.
I'm
Uh,
honestly surprised Twitter
MechWarrior
hasn't
experience
exploded
ever
about
on a
this
console.
sentence.
Ooh, shots fired.
yeah, the big time. But like I mean, it's gonna do well. Especially for a mecha game on Xbox. I mean, come on, especially on the Xbox One. That'd be crazy cool. Mechwarrior 5. I mean, come on, that'd be really nice. That'd be a lot of money that they're gonna go
At least
make.
as it is, the idea is that you releasing on Steam, releasing the DLC, and now releasing on Xbox and everything else, you might as well have all your marketing affect possibly all these platforms.
Yep.
So yeah, it makes complete sense to delay, and it makes complete sense to add more with more time.
Yeah, I'm excited for this launch. Especially given our next topic, I have high hopes for this particular launch, and like I have no idea what's going to happen, but I kind of just expect something to explode on that day. Whether it's the player numbers or the servers, something's going to explode.
Yeah.
It's gonna get him on the map, though. Xbox is a huge community, so definitely gonna get him back on the map instead of like, oh, look at that PGI company. And so now it's like, oh man, Mechwarrior 5, let's go play this. This seems cool, and I can play with my friends on Steam or whatever too.
with their ties with Microsoft, they just need to try and bundle Mechwarrior 5 with Excel. You can make mega money that way.
Yeah.
Excel.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Xbox release makes total sense. I'm a tiny bit concerned whether the MechWarrior 5 balance as it is right now translates properly to a gamepad only experience.
Mm.
Then again, you can use mouse and keyboard for an Xbox if you really wanted to. We'll see what the reception is on Xbox.
Simple
Mhm.
change. Now,
Interesting.
this won't necessarily be how the leprechaun speaks to them, but a simple change is just make the enemies less accurate on console. That way, they have more time
Good kind
to
of thing.
engage the enemy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't think there's gonna be something like a game assist. Most console games have aim assist, not game assist.
No, what they
Yeah.
should do is do Steel Battalion and basically like have that big ass controller. That's what they should
Giant
do.
keyboard
mean,
like
Yeah.
joystick controller.
Yes.
That's what they should
I
do,
would love
man.
to see that.
I mean, I still wanna see that HOTA system they designed like years back with the integrated display
Mm.
where you
Yeah,
could
that's
make an
right.
online map. That
Yeah.
was
I
such
forgot
a cool
about that. That was
prototype.
really
I
cool.
really would have loved to buy that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I would buy that, man. Shit. That'd be great. The yeah, with the foot pedals and everything, with the two joysticks and the eject button thing.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
And with the delay, they're also having more time to add improvements to quality of life and tune the balance and all that good things. Again, we will see how it pans out, and I'm sure we're gonna get some more info on that come
Yeah.
early 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the really big news of the week, though, and the main reason why a lot of this is happening, maybe even why the whole revival of Macro Online is happening at all, Pioneer Games has also been acquired by EG7.
Mhm.
I think we're gonna talk about this far more in depth in just a second. So
Yep.
only to get through the update from PGI side. Um, well, honestly, there's just a bunch of marketing in here. Like we're
At
gonna
the very
leverage this new
bottom,
relationship.
they talk about MWO. I know at least that's worth touching on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says it won't affect any of the Mechwarrior Online development or planning, really, which is good.
Well, like most of the time when companies acquire another company, they do the voodoo that you do. We'll kind of support you a little bit, and that's it. Yeah, and then they'll just do whatever they got to do, and just make us money type thing. So
Mhm.
so that's fine, and that's what they do normally. So
Yeah. So let's talk about the acquisition. I'm gonna open the
Yeah.
press release from the buyer company,
Mhm.
which is a lot of technical stuff.
Yeah. Now,
So
before we get to detail, yeah, I was
what
gonna
is
say, what is
EG7?
EG7? Yeah.
Let's start with that. A gaming fellowship with global reach. So EG7 is a Swedish company located in Stockholm. They're basically a sort of gaming conglomerate. You can kind of imagine Tencent on a much, much smaller scale,
mm-hmm.
uh, based in Sweden rather than China. They're focusing on basically buying up small studios. Currently, they have a lot of indie and like I don't want to say low quality, but small budget developers, game developers, and they're slowly moving towards acquiring bigger and bigger and bigger independent game studios to build their empire of gaming. And they're supporting this group with a unified marketing strategy and stuff like that. So they're basically a publisher slash game owner, more than a game developer company. So yeah, they own 10 companies, they have a bunch of titles, they have employees, they have developers, yeah.
What are some of the titles that they actually
So
did?
Let's see if I can find it
because I
easily.
know there's one studio that does the zombie
Oh,
franchise and Sniper
oh,
Elite
yeah.
and stuff, or
Oh,
whatever
Zombie
it was.
Army. Yeah,
Zombie Army,
Mhm.
yeah,
yeah.
that's one of the biggest studios.
Apparently,
Yeah.
My Singing Monsters is one of their biggest hits. I've never heard of this.
What?
Same.
My singing what the Project IGI? Okay,
Overcooked is a game you probably heard over.
never
Never
heard of
heard
it.
of that.
That's a little out of
I
my comfort zone. I can't play those types of games.
Overcooked is, I think, an indie game where you top-down control a Western style thing that's really stressful, and you have up to 2 players, and you need to coordinate tasks and run
So
around.
Gordon Ramsay,
Really
right?
fun.
A Gordon Ramsay game.
I'm thinking more like Cooking Mama.
It's a cooperative cooking game, so you know,
Ooh.
it's all of you running around, delivering the plates to different cooking stations and such. Because obviously each stage takes a different amount of time, and you can also have funny things where players are isolated into certain areas.
Mm.
So, like one player might take a dish, a dirty dish from the front of the store, but the washing sinks are at the back, but there's something in the way, so they have to leave the dirty dishes in the middle, leaving the player to, on the other side to pick up the plates and take them to the washing machine and back.
Okay.
All
Sniper,
right.
I've seen that game
Yeah.
actually.
Yep.
So they are working together with a lot of more well-known studios, like the guys from Sniper Elite. Planet
Planet
Coast is obviously
yeah.
fairly big, and this game looks like it's going to be fairly big. They're working together with those to do marketing, so this is more of a publisher relationship. And then for actual ownership, they own mostly indie studios and indie licenses.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now they're
A big
gonna own
thing
the 5-year Mechwarrior license from PGI.
Yeah, big thing as well is that they don't just act simply as a publisher. They are buying up these studios wholesale, and part of with how they bought PGI, they are buying 100% of the shares, 2/3 of which are they're paying with cash, and 1/3, roughly or there or so, they are paying with shares for their own company with EG7 shares. So, for if you're a Russ or somebody else who's got stock in Piranha Games, you get a whole bunch of cash, but you're also getting a whole bunch of shares in this company. So you're hoping that being acquired, that your company will be able to expand the business, that you have a
Mm,
vested interest.
Yeah.
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 There's also a earn-out consideration, where if
Hmm.
PGI meets certain financial goals between now and 2025, there's gonna be basically an extra on top for the people who sold PGI. Um, there's a lot of business stuff in here, so if you're interested in the economic side of the sale, it's kind of an interesting thing. Few numbers in here. Found it interesting that they were able to buy straight up 100% of PGI. I honestly didn't expect PGI to have this like a small number of private investors. I expected PGI to have a bigger number of private, and some of them would refuse to sell. So
Hmm.
as as far as I know, fairly unusual that you can just get 100% of shareholders to sell their shares in a private company.
Yeah, but they're very willing to just go ahead with it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
from EG7's perspective, we also have a YouTube video where they talk about why they acquired PGI and what their plans are going forward. And again, this is marketing talk mostly. Like this is
It's
a video
really
not
just
directed towards us, or well, it's kind of directed towards us.
It's
It's a
investors,
video
really.
designed
yeah,
to get people to buy their shares.
Yeah.
yeah. But I
And
think the main bulk that we would be more interested in is that he does push it up to Russ a little bit. So they did a segment from Russ, I believe, at their like PGI studio area. It's like a open room where he's just talking to a camera about MechWarrior 5, MechWarrior Online, and pretty much what they've done.
Yeah, this can get in the whole story just of the question of how will this affect PGI? How has PGI acted in the past, and how will they act in the future?
Yeah.
Big thing, of course, with even just with Russ here and in their presentations, is they're saying, "Oh, we've turned over lots of money in the last year," because obviously they had like still MWO running, but also plenty of trailing sales from MechWarrior 5.
Hmm.
A big feature that they often show is the glowing reviews from like IGN and
Hmm.
PC Gamer,
Yeah.
MechWarrior 5. So the preponderance of, instead of making a good game, but making one that will be well received by the likes of IGN, is why do you do that? Well, it sells really well to investors who aren't really in touch with gaming, but they are in touch with just simple 81%. Okay, that's recognized as a proper good game. So
Yeah.
it works really well, just selling your company off as at a bigger margin and
yeah,
all that.
and I guess moving kind of on into this concerns and hopes for the future kind of topic. We really don't yet know what direction this is going to take, because we again don't have a like large official statement. We don't yet know how involved they're going to be with marketing, all those things. Like right now, it could go either way.
Mhm.
Obviously, this presentation is talking about making money. So
Mhm.
if you're a Mechwarrior Online fan who watches this video, chances are really good you're taking away, oh my god, this company just wants to make the most money. This is scary for Mechwarrior Online. But then again, this video isn't meant for the Mechwarrior community, so it's really
So
hard
Yeah.
to take away a direction, is my take.
yeah,
Well,
what is
yeah.
Russ
Mhm.
selling Piranha Games as? He's selling it as, hey, we have a long-running free-to-play MMO that has been quite successful. We have, a well-reviewed by IGN game, that's come out recently. Both of these they're claiming will continue to make money and are going to go on the up and up. With the release of DLC and with MWO is obviously they're having the whole, revitalized support recently. And the biggest extra piece of news that is available in this video is him talking about they are going to start their own original new IP, which he
Mhm.
implies is going to be a new free to play online live service.
Yeah. There's no information just yet. He did just tease it, but hopefully we'll find out. I don't know when we're going to find out, but once it does, or once we do find out, we'll let you know.
Find out in the
Yeah,
blue because
Yeah.
he'll just pop it out there.
we'll
Because
find
with
out. We'll find out at the release.
Yeah.
with
Or maybe
PGI, they
a
are
week after.
saying that hey, we're what one of the oldest studios in Canada. Like they've been going for 20 years or so, and they have a lot of experienced personnel. Like there's,
Mhm.
we've actually been able to see from the sales thing. What was it? It's like 65 employees working at PGI, and the whole
Yeah.
thing was sold for what, 40 million or so.
I thought it was like 35 or something like that, but
I ranked
I
it up.
also remember it's Canadian dollar. So
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like $12 then, right? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay.
But remember, Piranha Games is being seen as a triple A game developer,
Yeah.
according to
yeah,
their PowerPoint.
apparently. Let me find that slide.
Yeah, yeah.
Triple A?
He put it as a double A, triple A, and
It
they
is
are
yeah.
right in the
doing,
center.
and their
Double A
department
and
is
triple A.
solely video game development, nothing else. So,
Well, it's in the category of indie A, and then triple A. So I don't know if
well,
that's
No,
well,
no, no.
no.
Look,
If you look at the middle column, they're only
midden
game
column
development.
is only Piranha.
oh,
Yes.
whoa,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah.
Mhm.
So then on the very far left, the whole entire global network here is game development services, marketing, publishing, all of that. So Piranha Games being brought in, they could be just a game developer. So my hope kind of is maybe like a slight silver lining to it is that this EG7 has that one division called Petrol, where Petrol is nothing but their marketing team. And I know we really didn't go through it, through their portfolio whenever we were scrolling through their games. But Ian, you stopped right before the games that Petrol helped in terms of marketing,
Hmm.
and they have some pretty big names in their portfolio when it comes to Petrol and marketing. Actually, so they got like
Destiny
Destiny
2. Wow.
2. They
Call of
got Call
Duty.
of Duties in
Yeah.
here, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is a brand new, just came out. We had a ton of marketing I've seen online.
Yeah.
You need to remember, though, we have contributed in as a really
I know,
low
which I don't know what that
percentage.
means for them. So I don't know if they're gonna allow Petrol to help PJ with marketing, which would be great if
I
they
think they
were.
would
Because
though.
They're going to be able to make use of their expertise. They
yeah,
own petrol. The thing with these big games is obviously it's not just that they're a big game. Well, the big game means they have a big budget. And
hmm
even if you're the tiniest indie game, it doesn't mean you're going to have the same marketing budget as something like Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
yeah. But even still, like I mean, my point is that PGI has had no marketing. At least they could have
Some
some
marketing.
marketing, possibly.
There
Yeah.
will be expertise available on the table for
Yes.
things, particularly their newest venture, the new IP. When that
hmm
comes out, obviously there will be a proportional amount of marketing along with it, and they'll have some proper hands behind the
Yeah.
wheel, at least
Yeah.
when they're
Yeah.
now tied with a publisher.
And that's the thing that's gonna be nice is that they could have some basically what you said proper direction with it instead of just we're just gonna put out a forum post.
Like with MechWarrior 5, when they were, working on the game, and they just released some random videos of somebody playing the game where they just wiggled
Mhm.
their arms around a lot and such.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Yeah.
and it
It
was
was
kind of
them stopping to go through the
interesting,
city.
but yeah, they didn't have very much in the way of actual trailer stuff.
No.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, it's a funny double-edged sword. At least one thing, at least I would say, using precedent, so to speak. Looking back in history, do you guys remember the last time PGI was
Yeah,
with a publisher?
yeah. That
Oh
was
no,
my first comment.
which
Mhm.
one was it?
Infinite Games Publishing.
Hmm.
Remember
IGP.
the company was blamed for everything that went wrong with Mechwarrior Online in the early days.
I
Mm.
rarely recall that
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. So
It,
early days of MWO, according to at least developers and Russ, they were working with a publisher. So the publisher said, "Oh, we want to rush the game out in like 6 months. You have to make a minimum viable product." And at least as far as I'm aware, that PGI had to then suddenly scramble and just make use of a game engine and rewrite a whole bunch of code and throw something together that kind of works. Other obvious touches of IGP was, hey, we want money, sell gold mechs. Gold mechs were at the hand of the
That's right.
publisher. Other things, I think, MWO quite quickly rushed towards getting clan mechs. They weren't
Mhm.
fleshing out the inner sphere experience. They jumped into clan mechs because, well, clan mechs is obviously, there's a lot of people talking about clans. That's where the money is. But obviously, rushing into making a game, rushing into adding clans into the game, added huge technical problems that they had never necessarily even been able to ever fix. That even nowadays, you still hear people complaining about clan versus IS balance, like in regards to engines and things.
yeah.
And there's still spaghetti code behind the wheel that causes lots of crashes and things because, well, this whole game was built in a rush because it wasn't done from a creative perspective. It's done from just a pure money making perspective. And from the publisher's perspective, at least with IGP, they rushed MWO out the door because they knew the name would sell and they didn't care about the gameplay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also remember Mechwarrior Tactics.
Mechwarrior
Yeah,
Tactics.
I don't
that's a while
remember.
ago actually.
Mechwarrior Tactics was basically a one-on-one tabletop adaptation in a browser video game. Its main selling feature for the publisher where you didn't just buy mechs and configure them, you bought cards, like literal trading cards. And those could be mechs or equipment, and then you needed to open card packs in order to gain equipment, in order to equip the mechs you got from your card packs. And then you played against other lances in a straight up tabletop
Oh.
adaptation.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it wasn't a bad game, IMO. I actually enjoyed it for a bit. The free to play experience was fine. However, it was a very obvious money grab. You had to spend a lot of money if you wanted to actually play the game.
Mhm.
The worst thing about it is they had the same founder system as Macro Online did. The game just vanished at some point. They
Hmm.
Yeah.
took the servers offline and no one ever heard of it ever again. And it was quite literally a cash grab.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that type of marketing or that type of like money making,
Business plan.
yeah, business plan is I haven't seen it actually in most games except for probably Magic the Gathering, where you open up packs, you get the rare uncommons and all that kind of stuff. I haven't really seen that type of thing do well online. Like, unless prove me wrong though, but like I'm literally every other one that's been like that has either foundered or actually switched their business plan to something else to make money wise. I don't know if there's any game out there. Do you guys know of any game?
Yeah, gacha games. All of the Japanese and the Asian games,
Well,
they all have.
that's different though. That's over. But
Well,
that's
it's the
There's
same concept.
season passes, in the Western market.
but they always
There's a whole
change it
bunch
though.
of cosmetic items and things like, the more recent Call of Duties. You have to, so many, weapons and cosmetics and everything is locked behind random loot boxes.
Mhm.
There's a whole bunch of monetization and
But there's a big
things haven't gotten better.
fuss about that though. Like
Paywall.
yeah, paywall type
Mhm.
thing. There's a big fuss about that type of business plan though. Like, I
There's
know
fuss,
Star
but
Wars had the same
that
thing
is the
too.
prevailing models,
Yeah.
and
It,
ultimately, at
yeah.
least, a publisher is wanting to push towards the prevailing models that get the most money.
Oh yeah.
They have at least found that the right balance is that you want to make a game that keeps people around for a while, so that your whales and recurrent spenders, stick around. That you
Yeah.
don't
Hmm.
cash it all out in just a few months. You want to cash out over a couple of years of endurance. The we're getting ahead of ourselves, at least with
We are.
Yeah.
we don't know necessarily how EG7 will really handle the MechWarrior properties,
Yeah.
and that will only really time will really only tell. Um, and as far as we can sort of tell, it is that they probably they're going to put down some money, saying, "Okay, you can keep doing MechWarrior 5 DLC. See if you can make more money from that game. You support MWO a bit, see if you can make more money from that game. But we're also going to put a whole bunch of cash, and we're going to have a new original IP, and that will be, under a lot more of their creative control in regards to how it's monetized."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what I was saying was
Okay.
the past was that PGI had a terrible time with publishers in the past that were wanting to milk money for a very short-term profit, and they were producing an even more terrible product than they're usually doing.
Hmm.
So they took control of the entire IP. They split off from the publisher. It was a huge, difficult divorce. But the people at Russ and at PGI, they really wanted to have control over these mech games to make mech games, and that's what they've been doing for quite some time now. Um, but as we can obviously tell, MWO is on the tail end of its life, and that it wasn't making a return on investment with mech packs, so they have to do something else. They do Mechwarrior 5 that probably didn't really pan out too well if they're looking for a publisher. At least if you're PGI and you love creative control, why give it up? Well, it's because you're in a bit of a rut. You need some help.
Yeah.
Fine.
The
Yeah.
same reason
Yeah.
they went with the Epic exclusive sale, even though they knew they would piss off a lot of their community.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
they gotta stay afloat somehow.
Yeah.
And at least, I mean, granted, I could make fun of the EG7 video of the guy talking business and doing PowerPoint slides and all that, but at least they have some sort of like vision, I can say,
Plan.
that they
Yeah.
Yeah.
plan ahead
Yeah.
of, and yes, they are going to want to make money, as all companies do, but at least this one has some sort of like goal or a look ahead to what they want to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at that video as from the view of a potential investor because I
Yeah.
am very interested in investing in a variety of like
Hmm.
gaming specific companies, and like the video honestly convinced me. Like EG7 as a company has a plan that I agree with,
Hmm.
and I do think they're going to do well in the coming years. However, that does not mean anything related to PGI as a part of that big company. And that's always important to keep in mind. If you look at stuff from EG7, Macro Online is going to be a very small part of that big group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The IPs are valuable, and they will gain those and perhaps maybe do something with them in future. Who knows? Um, but yeah, as it is, it's just by grouping together all these different companies, they can be stronger together than they are in as individual little companies. That if
Hmm.
you spend forever developing a game and it doesn't really work out, which often like 9 out of 10 times it won't. You don't have to tear apart the whole company and it's over. But sometimes, you're making this obscure, like, zombie survival game thing, and then it becomes Fortnite. You just never know which games are going to explode and which ones are just going to kind of paddle along. And so there's strength in Unity that, having all these different companies together, they have a marketing wing, that can help whichever company happens to be releasing a game right then. And they have a lot of expertise that can be shared between companies. This means on the whole, at least PGI can feel at least you can feel a bit more safe and secure. The downside, though, is at least you are only one small organ as a part of a larger organism. And if you are not profitable or not really working out very well, they don't really see any real reason in continuing it. As a single company, your only hope is to keep supporting MWO and make MWO something worthwhile and successful. If you're part of a big conglomerate, if MWO is losing lots of money, who cares about passion? It's losing you money. Shut down the servers.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay.
Well, at least in
Oh,
that case, it might put some pressure on them to make some good content, you know?
Well, the tone at the top is obviously often very strongly set by the publisher. You have
Hmm.
all the additional resources and help and experienced people, marketing and everything else by your side. Legal is a lot easier when everyone can turn to the same legal team. But PGI will not. They do not own the intellectual property anymore. They can't just work on this as a labor of love. They may be expected to lend a lot of their expertise to other people's projects if their projects aren't working very well.
Hmm.
So we really like, what is it? The guy who does the visuals for MWO,
Oh, yeah.
Chris Laurie?
uh,
No, not Chris
Loa?
Laurie.
Lower? No? I know who you mean, though. And
Matt
Yeah,
we're gonna
Newman.
get
yeah, Matt
growth.
Matt
Newman.
Yeah.
Newman,
Okay.
yeah,
There we
he
go.
does some good visuals. Well, he could do some great visuals for some other other projects that are out there, and so we
Hmm.
might just suddenly see no more events coming out, no more visuals for MWO because, well, his talents are much more useful elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time will tell. You know.
Okay.
I will tell.
Time will tell.
And I think as the community, it's our responsibility right now to not jump to any conclusions right now. We have been burned in the past. We might be burned again. We don't know. Let's wait and see before we
I don't, I don't see it as a
make.
burn though. I see more of just like, they're getting more help, which is fine. Like I really don't see that as a burn.
No, I am definitely referring to IGP. We have been burned in the past with
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
publishers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Runner.
In my head, a little bit, it's along the lines of, okay, there's 65 employees. We're going to set like 50 of them on the new project. We're going to send 10 of them to work on Mechwarrior 5 DLC and 5 of them to work on MWO. And the idea is all of these different groups are trying to aim for growth. I know that's just me shooting a shot wildly in the dark, but that was roughly how I'd allocate them employees. That you're staking a lot on this new game. That's the biggest thing you can sell to your publisher friends up above.
Hmm.
Like I like this game developer called Antimatter Games. That's such a cool name. I love that name. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with Bida. My biggest fear as well is that this new IP is going to draw away too many resources from Mechwarrior 5, especially. Like Mechwarrior Online, it was on the back burner, and I never expected Mechwarrior Online to go back to like 40, 50 devs.
Yeah,
But
no.
Mechwarrior 5 is currently their big title, which does have 40, 50 people working on it out of their
Hmm.
60.
Mhm.
And yeah, we don't yet know anything. So
I'm wondering in a way is MechWarrior 5 launches and the updates and such are quite slow, and this DLC isn't actually that spectacular, at least in my view. I wonder how many people have been working on this new IP for quite some time. Because for
yeah,
me, at least, if you see the sales after a couple of weeks, you're like, well, we can't have everybody work on MechWarrior 5. The DLCs just won't make the money back. So we'll need something new, and we'll need to sell to a publisher. And that's where they've been moving.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also keep in mind, EG7 is a publicly traded company. PGI was a privately traded company. So this sale has been in the works for a long time. It
Mm.
Mhm.
takes time to convince all of those private shareholders to sell their shares.
Hmm. So like pretty much you knew about it beforehand, and I just bring it out like this.
Now, I think you can actually check up the shares and buy the shares of EG7. They're like a Swedish
Yeah.
company, so they're on the
Mhm.
Swedish stock exchange.
And
Yes,
how
so
much are the shares?
EG7 is a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
And how much are the
Which
shares?
is, let's see. That was one of the links I had open earlier.
The consideration shares are 85.32 per.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shares are currently at this looks wrong. At 80 something.
Okay.
And what I found interesting is how their shares exploded in
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, they've really grown there.
Yeah, that's pretty huge actually. Jump.
About 400%. That's close to Tesla.
Yeah, they have liquidated. They have like what was it, 300 million or so in their money in liquid cash. So that's what they're using it to buy up companies, and that was stated in their talks with shareholders and such.
Cool. Well, I would invest in that company, I guess.
Yeah,
G7. Okay.
Maybe. I mean, I
Hey,
think on the
look,
first glance, I would say it's currently at a height. You might want to wait and see if it goes down a bit further.
They'll
Uh,
keep growing when they acquire more companies. The share price, you're really going to see growth in when, you know, one of their they release a hit game, and that game,
yeah.
returns a crazy amount on investment. And we don't know what Piranha has in the works, and we don't know too much about the other companies right now.
Obviously, don't take financial advice from us.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't take
yeah,
it from
don't
us.
do it.
No,
Yeah.
Personally, I'm like 70% convinced that right now would be a good time to invest in that company if you're into it. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
PGI
Anyway,
Sold. I think we've spent the last 30 minutes basically
we
saying
have.
that we don't know anything yet.
So we might want to move on to our next topic at this
Okay. Yeah.
point. So
All
what?
right.
So I think that's pretty much all we had from EG7, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not so
Battletech.
much to touch on other than just their business plan and what kind
Yeah.
of culture we have from them. And since none of us are really that involved with other things and prior titles from EG7, we can't say how they act as a publisher without looking into things more.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. We would have to do a lot of research to really get into EG7 as a company.
And they're
And
quite a new company. They're only like a couple years old.
yeah, I mean, look
hmm
at the age of the CEO. That's always a good indication as to how old and experienced the company is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Let's just hope, Piranha Games, PGI, in some ways, they don't go the way of what a lot of companies under EA
God.
or Microsoft go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving
Okay.
on to some topics that we do actually have info about. Um,
Yeah.
Jumping back to the Battletech Clan Invasion Kickstarter for a second, and their recent update, there were some news in here. Like this little picture, some of you may or may not find exciting. So for the guys listening to the audio-only version, I'm showing the current update for the Clan Invasion Kickstarter, where they shared some exciting news about models. Apparently, two of the most noteworthy people in Catalyst. I don't. There we go. Brett Evans. I didn't want to take the wrong name here. Brent Evans and Lanely Pardo are teaming up to create a new company based in the US to produce unassembled miniatures. As far as I'm aware, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, unassembled miniatures have been something that existed from the
40K.
metal,
Yeah.
Battletech. The metal models had
hmm
unassembled ones with like multiple arms
Yeah. Yeah.
for
You had to buy like
one
an
leg.
extra pack, something like that. Like an extra pack
Yeah,
has like
yeah.
extra
Some of those packs
lasers.
relying on unassembled because I find them really interesting.
Yeah.
And they're looking to create something similar, but this time in plastic, so far more affordable.
hmm
Where you can, for example, buy this kit shown here, which would be a Stormcrow, which features obviously the body, the legs, and then for each arm, multiple variants. So you can configure it not only on paper, but also the model and put on the
hmm
arm weapons you actually want to field, which is cool.
hmm
Yeah, that's
Uh,
really cool because at that point you can really customize your character to what you have on paper.
Yeah.
I like
yeah.
that.
The
Yeah.
noteworthy thing here, it's gonna be a US-based company, which I think is mostly novel for the Battletech franchise. So hopefully, low shipping costs for you guys in the US, and hopefully high quality that you can buy really soon. And
hmm
also, this should be the only thing where you can buy single mechs in packs.
That'd be
One of the
cool.
has stated before that they're not really looking to sell single mechs as packs because that's not really profitable for them. In this case, you can buy single mechs.
hmm
Well, that's cool.
Like
And
a
they're going to be starting with the Stormcrow TC and the clan version of the Black Knight. Never mind, the clan buster version of the Black Knight.
okay.
So it's going to be focused around the Battle of Tugate.
Yeah. Cool.
By
I
the
don't.
way, Battle of Tugate just had a big release. And if you're a Clan Invasion backer, you got most likely the campaign book for free. So check your mails and redeem that one. It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, this is quite interesting, at least particularly since this company will be designed to the mind of delivering these miniatures. I my vague guess is at least that this Kickstarter was so successful, at least that they could use the money they got from this to invest into hard capital the machines and whatnot to actually serve this base much more appropriately than waiting for, doing the whole thing. We're getting the right production line and schedule in China to produce the stock models and having to buy them in large bundles. So who knows? Hopefully, economies of scale, at least a smaller economy of scale here, will pay off, but only time will
Yep.
tell.
Can you click in on
And
the on the one with all the different parts that are still have fluff on them?
Here, just like zoom in a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. I just want to see what that.
test print. So yeah, one of the pictures on the Kickstarter is a test print, 3D print,
Okay.
which looks
That would be a pain in the ass to
relatively
clean up,
good
though,
enough for a
man.
test print. But yeah, 3D printing is one of those big advancements that makes stuff like this possible because you don't
Mhm.
need a big production line.
Yeah.
So from the update, it did look like they're looking on to do the classic injection mold for plastic rather than 3D printing all the parts.
Yeah.
So presumably they're hoping to sell a large quantity of these.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
this,
I am
especially
too.
since Blaine is involved.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see a novel author involved in a miniature
Yes.
production company.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
So now,
we do know
how is
him,
Blaine
so
involved in this?
potentially we could get him back on a podcast, Bob, if you want to
Yeah.
shoot an email. I would
Oh,
love to talk to him about this.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, come on. That'd be definitely a thing to go have him on for. Come on, Blaine. You're making mechs now. You're making parts.
That's very
Blaine,
interesting how they
I
got
need info.
Blaine.
Why?
Yeah, like because it just says
How?
in
When?
the update, it just says author Blaine Lee have teamed up to embark on a massive venture creating new plastic minis. Like that is really cool. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the other one is an art director as well. Like both aren't necessarily,
yeah.
sitting there in the production lines, and usually anyway.
Well,
But
it was probably
But their
Brent Evans
talent,
there,
though,
who's
that
the
they
art
have.
director, and they probably have Blaine, who's giving the information of like this mech would have this component, and that mech would have that component, and then it's probably more like Blaine is like a consultant of like what mechs have what.
who knows? I think though, at least for these two being the two head names, they are, they're the ones who are putting in the investments. They're going to be in charge,
Yeah.
basically.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's great. You know.
Yep, definitely a good choice. Like we can trust that those miniatures are gonna be lower accurate, and we can trust that they're gonna look good and fit in the model line we already have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So all around, exciting news. It's a great time to be a Battletech fan. And speaking of great time to be a Battletech fan, I don't know why I clicked the link again. It's the same link. 2 weeks left. If you're listening to this podcast and you still want to change anything about your Wave 2 order of the Clan Invasion Kickstarter, it closes on December 15th. So we have until December 15th to get in your final order for Clan Invasion Wave 2.
Okay.
After that, it's gonna be gone. And I highly recommend checking in. They have added some stuff very stealthily. For example, there's a recognition poster and a lot of small stuff, plus some big stuff we talked about in past episodes. So take another look, confirm everything is set, send out your survey, and soon, my friends, soon, we're
Part
gonna
2.
have everything. And I don't have the space for everything I bought. So this is
You gotta get more shelves.
I know. I'll need more shelves.
Lars, did you actually get some of the Battletech stuff?
Yeah, no, I didn't get the pre-release stuff or anything like that, but I did get like the main first like box set
Oh, okay.
that
Okay.
you would get. Yeah,
Have you
I
played it
did
yet?
get that. You know what? The funny thing is, I got it, and then my friends and I were gonna meet up, and then we kind of like pushed off a little bit because of life, and then 2020 happened, and then we just never did it.
Yeah.
But I got
True.
it. It's downstairs in the basement. You know.
I have to say, like, when I seen this artwork, though, I mean, it is amazing. The color that they have in this is great compared to the one they actually had beforehand. Did you see the one beforehand? Just it looked okay, but this looks beautiful. It was such a good one there.
All of the artwork is great. All of the stories are great. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Battle of Tukid.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that it for all of our stuff there? You guys want to chime in on something?
I'm just gonna say $15 gets you, if you are not part of the Kickstarter, $15 gets you the campaign book for the Battle of Tukid. which is gonna give you hours upon hours of playtime with the Clan Invasion Kickstarter box set. So I highly recommend picking that one up. It's really good, and the Battle of Tuka 8 is one of the biggest events in the Battletech franchise. So just for that, it's worth having.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
of the big ones.
It'll be some interesting few years to come, at least. With PGI being snapped up by a bigger developer, they're going to be sticking around for a little while longer. And with this whole new, the model making going in America, who knows? The models might be a lot easier more forthcoming in the future.
I think they would be. I definitely think they would be. Like getting stuff from China, man. It's really hard to get that stuff, and then project delays and everything else, and COVID happening, and who knows. But yeah, it's a lot easier to go ahead and have stuff done in your own country than it is to have it done from another country and shipped over.
Yep. And us Europeans are gonna get the bad end of the stick as always.
Yeah, no, actually, you got 40K. You have Warhammer 40K.
It all
Actually,
depends on the
yeah.
from Battletech standpoint, it all depends how easily scalable this model production is and where the main markets are.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure United States and Europe are the two main markets, predominantly United States, but there's plenty in Europe. So if it's relatively easy to set up a 3D manufacturing in the United States, they could do it in Europe to expand the business.
True.
And yeah, the thing with China at least is they are becoming almost like first world. They're becoming just as wealthy as we are, at least in their main cities. And so you're not actually making you can't get things as cheap anymore. You have to
That is
get
called the middle income trap for those of you who studied economics.
yeah. So that's why it's a good time, or it's starting to be a good time to start up your manufacturing things again using more advanced technologies in Europe and United States. The whole automation and everything was held back quite a number of years because of China. But
Yeah.
we'll have
Yeah.
to just wait and see.
Okay.
Cool.
That's all.
That's
That's
a
it.
great end of the
How long
podcast.
have we
Okay.
been going?
See you
We went
later.
too long?
Bye.
Mention cats.
Bob is just like, I want to go back to bed.
Dude, I am. No, I was sitting there. Okay, I'll tell the story afterwards.
In that case, Bob needs his nap. He's an old man. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening and watching the First Circuit podcast episode number 132. We hope you had a great time, even though we were mostly speculating today rather than reporting on stuff. Your hosts today included Bida,
I'm in my head imagining a sloth, but now it's Ralph Wiggum.
Ralph Wiggum.
Old Bob is asleep, Lash,
Bye.
See you later. I'm also about to pass
and
out.
myself, Indra Sari. Bye bye, and see you back
See you later.
for episode 133.